Hey there, members of the graveyard, and welcome to our third video in our Monster Hunter Wilds Weapon Guide series, where we will be discussing the full scale and scope of the bow. We are 12 days out from the launch of Monster Hunter Wilds, so for the next 12 days, I'll be releasing a weapon guide every day, giving you a full weapon breakdown, discussing the general game plan, and tips for every weapon. This will be accompanied by a hunt against the Doshaguma with commentary about my thought process on how to use the weapon to its fullest as a beginner. Quick disclaimer, all the footage you are about to see is from the beta, so if you found this video after the official release, worry not. That means everything in this video is still applicable. I'll be keeping an eye on any major changes happening to the weapons, and if there are big changes after the release, I'll be re-releasing these weapon guides for any weapon that received significant changes. If there's any small changes, I'll probably just leave it as a pinned comment. Now, one final thing, and I cannot stress this enough, this video is not for finding out what the best and strongest things are to do with this weapon, or finding a meta, or anything like that. This is a video that covers and explores everything that has to do with the weapon's functionality, and how to use them, and then how to come up with your own conclusions about the weapon. With that being said, let's jump straight in. Don't look at that scrap. My script is sacred. No one lays eyes on my script. Now, I feel like it's very important that when we are learning a new weapon, we take the time to read and place ourselves in a controlled space where we can fully explore the options that our weapon does. It's fun to just kind of slap on a new weapon and jump straight in and think you've got it all figured out, but I've done that a bit in the past, and typically when I've done that, I'll have figured out like 70% of the weapon, and then I find that one of the biggest things about the weapon I never knew about and never used. And I won't say exactly the example, but it went on for months that I didn't know a certain thing about a certain weapon. So let's go ahead and grab my notes here. And we're going to start by something that is very important for all ranged weapons is sensitivities. So we're going to go over here into our options, go over to the camera, and take some time to grow comfortable with whatever sensitivity that you decide upon, because we do need to aim and we do need our shots to go where we want our shots to go. It's very important. So again, take some time, figure out what feels good for you, and then move on with the video. Now we're going to cover our defensive options. Our defensive options, while it is very limited, it is very good. We have the bow's dodge while we are holding up our bow. Now, this dodge is everything to us. It's our lifeline, it's our defense, it's our offense. I'm going to go ahead and set up the dummy here with some training settings so I can showcase what I mean by all of this. We're going to turn off wounds, and we're going to make it go to smash mode. Apply the changes. Now, how is it our defensive option? Well, it's a good dodge. It's got good immunity frames. It goes far. And if we time it right with an attack, it sends us very far, and it will recover stamina as well. Now, after we do any sort of dodge, we have this type of follow-up shot where we can hit the Y button after any dodge, and we can hold either forward, back, left, or right to go an additional distance for no extra stamina cost, and that's why it is very, very good. So that is kind of it when it comes to our defensive options. We can dodge any which way that we want to. We can follow up our dodge with this kind of like extra distance shot. It's called the flying swallow shot. And we can also make sure that when we time with an attack, we do a perfect dodge, or the discerning dodge, which again restores our stamina, which helps us be more offensive. And I'll explain how that ties in to the weapon later. Now, we're going to go over our coding system. So our codings are very easy to understand. We hold our left bumper to select which one we want. Poison coding poisons the monster. We pop it on, we shoot our arrows, and then after enough hits, we will inflict poison on the monster. Poison is a condition that it's damage over time. As we can see, there's now these increments of damage happening at the top of the cart. And we have poisoned our dear Wagon Chan. Wagon Chan is very precious to us. She helps us figure out all of our weapons in a very safe environment. We love you, Wagon Chan. Now, the power coding, it's power. It's very straightforward. It makes our arrows do more damage. As we shoot, we lose charges of it. As we can see, the files underneath our reticle in the center. And we reapply it. Every time we reapply it, we use this gauge. See how this little blue bar goes down when we pump our coating container with more coating? That's what we spin that meter on. And how do we get it back? Well, it's very, very simple. We simply hold our bow. We just hold it. Just hold the charge and the meter will go up. Now, one thing to note, if we're at maximum coatings and we swap to another coating, it will not consume any amount of gauge. Actually, it does, but we have it reserved in the tank. So we spent meter on the poison, and then we spent meter on the power coating. So now, until we have expended those charges, it won't cost us any extra to swap between them. But as you can see, let's say I use 6 of these, and then I go back over, and I use 5 of these. It will kind of save, or actually no, it doesn't seem to work that way at all. I think it just kind of like, you have coding. So let's see, let's test this real quick. So we have 6, we go over, okay, so we use 8, we use 2, and now when we go over here, it should only use, right. So our coding charges are universal, it seems. So if I have 8, and I go over, and then I just put the 8 that I have over into the next one. Now, if I fire 2, and then go over, and then refill it, it will only take a little bit because we're only missing 2 from our universal charge. So we can interchange our codings. This is very good to know. So that's about it for the codings. We've learned how to apply them. We've learned what each one does. We've learned how to restore the meter that allows us to use them. So now we're going to get into our trick arrow gauge, which is, as we can see at the bottom here, our trick arrow gauge is the 2 little arrow markers. It goes up to 3. We need to kind of like figure out how do we get this back, right? Well, we get it back by, I believe, just letting charges of our bow accumulate. So it's the same way that our power coatings come back, which is good to know. And also we can restore our trick arrow gauge. Those little 3 arrows in the bottom right. We can also restore them by getting perfect dodges. So that's how we restore our trick arrow. Now, what do we actually use it on? Well, we use it for this tracer round. So we hold both triggers, we'll hit the X button, and we'll release, and now we have a tracer arrow in. Well, what does the tracer arrow do? Well, it makes our arrows have some pretty strong tracking. Now, it's not heat-seeking, it's not flawless, but it's some pretty significant tracking. And also, if we take note here, use my power coding so that we can see this in a clear example. Our shots are doing 13 while the tracer is out when it hits the right spot. Now, let's go ahead and see what happens when there's no tracer out. So we actually do 7 damage when there's no tracer out. So it's a damage buff, and it also works with our power coatings. They all stack. So it does 19 when you've got the power coating and the tracer round going. So we've learned how to generate more gauge. We've learned how to generate more gauge. We've learned its applications and how to use it. And now a tip for you is that I always like to chill on one of these trick arrow charges so that I have one for when the monsters get knocked down or get put into disadvantaged situations where I can kind of uninterruptedly just go a little crazy on the monster. And believe me, I like going crazy on a monster and doing big damage. So always reserve one in the pocket just for those moments that kind of pop out of nowhere, like boulders falling on them, vine traps, shock traps from your palico, traps from other hunters. You can't really plan around all that stuff happening, so what you should do is have a contingency of making sure that you always have a round in the chamber for those opportune moments to get a lot of damage in. Now, I'm not sure if this is intended, that damage increase that we saw from the tracer round being live and active into our dear Wagon Chan. Because it doesn't mention that that's what it does anywhere in the weapon guide, so I don't know if that'll be sticking around. But I will, again, I'll come and update this video in the comments if that seems to be something that they address in any future patch notes. So now we're going to go into our combos. Now, the combos in the bottom left are actually pretty good. They are a good way to just kind of access your big damage. Our big damage comes from our shot. And we don't increase the damage of this combo by doing anything but by having power coatings on and our tracer arrow shot into our target. It doesn't matter if we have high charge of our bow. As you can see, 7 7s. So the first 2 shots are always doing 7, and the last shot is always doing 9. We can hold this, we can charge up, we can release, and we can just, it's always 2 rounds of 7s and 9s. We also see that there is a 1,000 Dragons combo. We don't need the first right trigger, but it is an option. Very free flowing. We can go from shot into shot. We cannot go, we can go B into our normal shot. There isn't really a use for that. But at any moment, we can follow up a B with this new thing that the bow got called the 1,000 Dragons. So we can then hit B. And then... right? And again, doesn't matter the length of our combo. All of that stuff, its damage is it's static. We cannot increase those damages anyway except for our power coating and our tracer round. Now, the tracer combo, again, it's just telling you that you can fire off the tracer and then start going into your shots. Everything flows very well together. Now, you can't go, you can go from B to Y, as we said earlier, but it really doesn't have any practical usages. You usually want to get to charge level 2, which we'll go on, we'll talk about charges in just a second. Charge level 2, release. Pow pow, and then do your 1,000 Dragons. And that's about it for combos, really. You'll just have to kind of get your hands dirty, play around the weapon, and see how that everything sort of leads into everything in some way, shape, or form. I will go ahead and state that doing a manual Dragon Piercer is very slow. We no longer need to put ourselves into this long animation. After any shot that we do, I think you can even do it after this. You cannot do it after the 1,000 Dragons attack. So don't try to do a dragon piercer after the 1,000 dragons. But after any shot, we do this little spin around, and the charge is a lot faster. Now let's just do a naked one without any buildup. See how long that went off? The damage doesn't go up, to my knowledge. Just fire it in the exact same spot. So we got 18s on the orange and 4 on the whites. Let's go ahead and do a combo. So it does more damage to do a naked one, but very long windup, very long recovery. I usually use this as a last type of extra credit to put into the monster. But outside of that, yeah, it's hard to get that off. It's good for using on the monster when it's asleep and you need to wake it up, or if it gets paralyzed or what have you. But you want to make sure that you at least get a full round of a full length combo into the monster while it is in those inopportune spots. And sometimes you can even sneak it in. I guess you can sneak it in, but you have to remember that while that time that you're charging that dragon piercer, you could just be doing constant damage, which will heavily outweigh the dragon piercer. I don't want to get too much into optimization talk, because again, we're not trying to be meta. We're not trying to really optimize here. We're just learning everything about our weapon and when we should and maybe shouldn't try to do things. Very, very base level understanding. Now we're going to discuss our arrow charge system. Now, the arrow charge system, it's very simple, not complicated at all. So when we fire an arrow without anything else, we just tap the fire button, we will shoot one arrow. And that one arrow will always do 7 if we get orange. Now, when we go up a charge level, we will see these 2 circles on the sides of our reticle. This will indicate charge level 1. Right? Charge level 1 just shoots an additional arrow. Not more damage on each arrow, just more arrows. And then if we hold after that, we will get charge level 3. So we hold, we wait. So you don't want to just keep spamming, go 1, 2, 3. You want to hold for half a second so you get to 1, and then you can go to 2 right after that. This saves us time, and it's less time spent firing to get to the maximum charge, because as the bow user, we like to be at the maximum charge, and I'll tell you why. Because our dodge preserves our charge level after we fire. So we're at level 2 charge, we fire, we dodge, and we're right back to level 2. Normally, we would release the level 2, and we have to start all the way back over. Now, this is how, remember, early in the video I said our stamina is also our offense. So we hold level 2, we can level 2, and then level 2, and then level 2, so on and so forth. This eats our stamina quite heavily, which is why it is important to get those perfect dodges to restore our stamina. And that's about how the charge system works. Now, we got 2 more things to go over. We have our arc shot. Now, charging the arc shot, there's 2 levels to it. And all it does is increases the radius. Now, you can't have multiple of these going. As you can see, the second that I shoot it, maybe you can actually have multiples. Let's see. All right, yeah, you can have multiples. So that is an option. But as you can see, when we put these, when we do these arc volleys, it leaves little sticky arrows into our targets. Now, we pop these arrows a multitudes of ways. We can use the 1,000 dragons to pop them. We can use the dragon piercer to pop them. Or we can use what the last thing we'll cover is our little wound popper, the way that we pop wounds. We use our right bumper, and this puts up this nice little targeting reticle that will automatically lock onto the tracer round. So let's get Wagon Chan covered in some sticky bomb arrows, and then we're going to highlight them. And you see how when we were highlighting them, these triangles started building up around it. I'll do it one more time. It's kind of quick. This is indicating the charge level of our lock-on. Now we can get 3 triangles, which indicates the maximum damage from it. And that's about how you use it. Now, if you pop a wound, you'll know, because you will be put into a Dragon Piercer. And this Dragon Piercer can pop multiple wounds at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and just put on, save the changes. So again, even on the wounds, you can see those 3 triangles building up. So pop it, and then, as you can see, we popped 2 wounds. Actually, we popped 3 wounds too after. So I think it will pop I think if, as long as the arrow hits the monster, it will pop every wound that got hit by your lock-on attack. So that is going to finish our breakdown of the weapon. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. If that was all you were here for, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day. But for those who are going to stick with me for the full hunt to see me kind of showcase the weapon to the best of my ability, let's strap in and get down into the trenches. Now, I will be doing my best to comment my thoughts as I play. This requires a little extra brain power, so don't mind me if my face goes completely devoid of emotion, but words are still coming out, and it's something that I'm working on in my content creation career. So we want to practice good habits. We want to recommend loadouts. Make sure we have all the items that we need. And we don't really need to make sure that we restock our ammunition anymore. For you new players, the bow used to have certain ammunition types that would have to bring manually, but now it's just a part of this mechanic that we have baked into the weapon. So we're going to go ahead and start the quest. Now we're going to eat. With Monster Hunter Wilds, it has changed the way eating has eaten, or how eating works, and we only need to eat every 50 minutes. But since we've been yapping and we had to relaunch the game, actually it looks like our buff was still there, but just for the sake of the video, we're just going to eat a nice little meal here. Don't worry, we'll skip the cutscene. I am very hungry. And these little meals don't help at all. Go ahead and skip. Hop on our secret, and we're off to the races. Now we can apply our coatings while we're on the secret. So we can get coatinged up. We can go ahead and equip our large dung bomb, because we will be needing it to disperse the boys. This is a pack animal. We do not want the pack fighting together. So we're just gonna stroll on up here, get our poo shot off. And we're just going to kind of make these guys go their own separate ways, because believe me, as a ranged person, you do not want to fight all 3 of them. We're going to follow him wherever he goes, throw on our ghillie mantle so we can make use of the new sneak attack. The ghillie mantle allows us to be a little more sneaky, and that we can guarantee the sneak attack. And then we will be making sure that we are using our meters, using our trick arrows. Oh, we shot. That's my bad. I accidentally shot my bow, which got rid of my ghillie mantle. Okay. And now again, we don't need to, as a reminder, we don't need to be too obsessed with how with what areas we're shooting at, because we create wounds no matter where we hit. Now we want to be focusing. We want to be focusing our attacks as much as possible in the proper areas. Gonna make sure we use a charge here of our tracer round. Make sure we get our dodges. Dodge again. Make sure we get our coatings back up. I'm gonna be making sure that, so something that I forgot to cover is when our reticle is this deep orange, we are within critical distance. Now, critical distance is important for hunting with ranged weapons because we will do the most amount of damage while we are in this distance. Now, our reticle will turn a different color. It'll be like this faded orange. And this will tell us that we are too far away from the monster. Now, I'm going to take an opportunity here to try to arc shot. See if we can get lucky with the arrows landing. Seems like we're doing pretty okay here. And then I'm going to take this opportunity to try and pop some of these tracer rounds. See how early that dodge was, and we still got it? We don't need to be too crazy with the timings. Take this opportunity to try to do another arc shot. Try to get a tracer round, get our paint back going. Gonna leave, but I'm gonna try to see if I can. All right, looks like we got a couple of sticky bombs right on the tail, so that's good. So I think we're doing pretty well. We're managing our meters. We are using them when they reach, we're trying our best not to overcap on our resources. Make sure we apply our coatings. Actually, let's go for a poison. We're gonna go for a poison since we haven't poisoned him yet. If he stops right here, I'm gonna make the falling boulder hit him. Swing and a miss, it happens. We're now just gonna get rid of the boys. Hopefully that worked. Seems like it made one of them disperse. Fire a round off of that. See if I can get a poison before he gets too far away. No dice. Well, wherever he goes next, we'll make sure that we get this poison off with our poison coating. I think I'm gonna want to do it before we drop this trap on his head. Looks like we are successful. I'm gonna come over here, equip the right coating. I'm going to knock this down off the ground. We are going to get our tracer around, fire our arc shots, and then get a full combo off here. Gonna repower coat. I'm a little tired. Looks like he's having a hard time. Drop the arc shot, get more sticky bombs going. Trace around. Doing good damage here. Reapply the coating. Get this dodge. He's getting flinched by something. Make sure we don't get caught in the crossfire from the target or cat. Perfect dodge. Get our power coating back. Reapply the tracer. Again, this tracer is insane. Pop those rounds. I'm gonna chill here for a second. Get a dodge. Another dodge. Trace around. Power coating. Make sure we're staying on top of our meters. Making sure we take these opportunities. Power coating. Another tracer around. This non-stop circling around. And he's running away. Trying to think if there's anything we haven't done. I think we haven't made use of the Dragon Piercer in a combo. I'll try to use that when we find an opportunity. It's next to another tree. I wonder if it'll learn its lesson this time. Go ahead and ready the trace around. Ready the arc shot. So let's go ahead and do... quick Dragon Piercer right underneath of it. Not really what we wanted. Repower coating. Tracer around. Not really gonna worry about the fact that it's not on his head. He's mad. He is very mad now. Gonna trace around. He's mad at me again. I don't know why. Gonna trace around before I pop this wound. We have a lot of targets. Some big numbers. Big juicy numbers. Nice satisfying wound pop. That feels good. I don't know. He's just kind of freaking out. Trace around. Dodge. Ooh, little... That's why you don't cut it too close. Be a little early. That's not good. Okay. Actually, I think would have killed us. Trace around. Power coating. Air dodge. Pop a wound. Wait for the max charge. Taking the shot, Mr. President. We hit the shot. He doesn't seem to care. He's just carrying on. Well, that's just fine and dandy. Now, I want to get these boulders right on his head. Very good. Very good. So we're going to make sure we do this. Get him coated up. Now, then make sure we highlight all of our things, get the shot, take the shot, pop the wounds. I think after that, he's not too happy. scared, not gonna lie. Ooh. Ooh, that's a scary one to get hit by. Let's go ahead and heal up after that. Trace around. Paint. We should be doing trace around after coating up, in my honest opinion. But things are going good. Things are going swell. We are getting a little better at making sure we are holding our shot until it reaches the first level of charge and not just firing 3 times in a row to reach our maximum charge. We're getting better at using our excess stamina to maintain that 3rd level shot so we can let off multiple 3rd level shots back to back to back. And we haven't used any of our traps, so we're kind of just going to do that. But first, something very important. In this game, when the monster is limping back to its nest, give it a little wide berth. Oh, I guess it detected me from really far away. I've never had him get mad at me from that far away. This is awkward. I was going to showcase what happens when it goes to sleep, but unfortunately, it's now just going to get eaten alive by raptors. Maybe it will end up limping to its nest after it sees the mistake that it's made. It's going to take this opportunity to go a little crazy on it. And why not? So we're going to do our power shot combo here. Full burst it. 1,000 dragons combo. We're gonna keep our bow ready. Woo! Scary monster. Reapply our power coatings. Make sure we manually hold our charge here so we can get some meter back. Again, manually charging the bow is actually good because it helps us restore our meter. Also, getting perfect dodges, very helpful. We messed that one up. But just keep our bow ready. Keep it calm. I don't know how that missed me. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't know how that missed me. Wow. That was crazy. I thought I was gonna get smacked up there. Well, that's the hunt. That is the hunt. And let's take a moment here to have some closing thoughts. So, I hope you all have enjoyed this demonstration of the weapon, and with the things that you have learned in this video, I hope you can now begin to draw your own thoughts and conclusions on the weapon itself. I hope we all take the time to not worry about what's meta, what's the best thing to do or not to do, and just consider things in your mind. Make decisions for yourself and be like, oh, this seems like it would be better to use over this in this situation, etc., etc. I have enjoyed this series since I was a kid, and it has brought me so many amazing memories, and I have made a lot of good friendships through playing this game, or continued and strengthened ones that I had outside of this game. And that's what I want for everyone to experience. And I feel that learning new weapons and stuff, it can be a little scary, but if you just take the time, it doesn't take much to really understand a weapon fully, and almost skip the novice steps of it entirely if we just take some time to study, take some time to learn. So if I missed anything in this video, or if you have some tips of your own, please let me know down in the comments. And if you got anything out of this video, feel free to leave a like. Now, I didn't know if I was going to ever really mention this in the recordings of it, But we are live on Twitch and YouTube Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I should say, Eastern Standard Time. And if you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it, I would love to see you there and maybe chat about the game, or who knows. But that's all for now. And as always, I hope you have a great day. Catch you on the next one.